In this video, I'm going to talk about nose breathing and what it means for freediving. Coming up. What's up, Gert from GertLeroy.com. Peace in every breath. Thank you so much for stopping by. You know how it goes. I'm a freedive instructor. I dive on breath holds, and this channel is all about helping you find peace through freediving. And today we are live from the city of Bangkok, Thailand. We're going to talk about nose breathing. Why nose breathing? Because I read this book, The Oxygen Advantage by Patrick McKeown. And I have to correct myself immediately because I haven't read it fully yet. I've read only like maybe 30%. But it's pretty obvious that this book is about nose breathing. And actually I had this book already a year ago. I started reading, but then it it didn't really catch my interest. But lately I listened to a podcast on freedivecafe.com with the author of this book. And I decided to read this book again. And this time, I don't know why, maybe I'm a little more advanced now in freediving, or I'm just more focused on what is this exactly that I do to make progress in freediving. But this time, I really think it's very interesting. It's about nose breathing and basically how how your health and your general well-being can be better while nose breathing. Now, our mom and dad has always told us to breathe through the nose, not through the mouth, so this is nothing new. You might say, yeah, I don't need to read a book to know I have to breathe through the nose. That was exactly what I was thinking, until I find out that actually during sleep, I was breathing through my mouth. Now, this is something that you're not conscious about, but imagine if you're sleeping around 8-9 hours per night and you're breathing through your mouth. That's like a long time that you're really breathing. Now, without going really into detail about why nose breathing is so important, if you really want to know this, you have to read the book, of course. And once again, I haven't read it myself completely. I'm just in the beginning. If you breathe through your nose, basically, to make a long story short, you accumulate more CO2 in your system, a little bit more. Basically, when you're mouth breathing, you are always over breathing. So hyperventilating, over breathing is the same. You are purging more CO2 out. If you breathe through your nose and you do it in a gentle way, like a small inhalation, a small exhalation, then you will purge out less CO2, and basically your body will get used to a little higher levels of CO2. Now, that is obviously what we want in freediving. That sounds like music in the ears to a freediver. Okay, our body, our CO2 receptors, they are just more used to CO2. So all this CO2 tolerance that we're doing in the pool, well, imagine if the effects of CO2 tolerance training, could be accomplished by just breathing more through the nose and more conscious breathing, slight breathing, gentle breathing, small inhale, small exhale, instead of doing these big inhalations that we thought was necessary, like. So once again, without going into detail on the hows and the whys of this, you have to read the book. Patrick McKeown can explain it way better than I can. But for me, this is like quite a revelation. So I've been very conscious about nose breathing, not only during sleep, but also right after exercise. For instance, this morning I did pool training. And what I do right after I come up from a lap is heavy breathing through the mouth. Now, that is not wrong, because that is your body that is asking to breathe this way, but I try now to minimize it. So instead of multiple cycles of this heavy breathing, I now try to minimize it and switch as fast as I can to nose breathing. So it goes something like this. Small inhalation, small exhalation. So I try to go away from this deep breathing as fast as I can and go back to gentle, small nose breathing. Now that's one thing I'm very conscious about, and the other thing, and that is probably where I get the most benefit from, is breathing through the nose while I'm sleeping. I just basically came to the conclusion that I'm opening my mouth during sleep, and there is something called mouth taping. It's all over YouTube. If you Google mouth taping, lots of people talk about it. Um, Information is always available, you know, but if there is no one who actually tells you where to go look or what exactly to do, then you cannot really handle the overload of information. And I guess that was more or less my problem as well. So I've always known that breathing through the mouth is not beneficial, it's not optimal. So what do I do now? Well, I tape my mouth during sleep, and I must admit it's a bit of an adjustment. Also, the first nights the tape came off. But if you sleep 8 hours while breathing through the nose with your mouth taped, that is amazing. If you wake up, you know that something is different, you feel different, and you know that something happened in your body. So I don't know if this is really going to benefit my freediving. And I'm not the kind of guy that just reads something and then thinks, okay, now I found the holy grail. Now my freediving is going to change a lot. So I prefer just trying things out, and that's what I'm doing now. But I think I can feel already the benefits. So that's basically what I wanted to say in this video. Thank you, Freedive Cafe, for having this podcast with Patrick McEwen. This has actually brought my attention back to this book and back to nose breathing. If you guys want to try this out, if you think that you are a heavy mouth breather, if you think that during your sleep you are breathing through your mouth, then definitely tape your mouth and try out exercises that help you more nose breathing. So there's exercises described in this book. And that's it. So my wildest dream is, of course, if I could just skip pool training and just sleep while CO2 tolerance training while breathing through my nose. Now that's a bit of a utopia, of course. You still have to do your pool training for technique and for whatever. But I highly believe that if you can optimize your sleep while breathing through the nose, you're gonna go a long way in freediving. So that's it, guys. If you have an idea for a new video on this channel, then please let me know in the comments down below. Give me a thumbs up and do subscribe to this channel. Peace in every breath.